Pilaf and his gang make their debut in episode 4 of Dragon Ball Super. Hello there, beautiful friends from around the world. I'm going to be your host, Blackenfist, and welcome, because Dragon Ball Super episode 4 is upon us. Pilaf and his gang are stuck on an island, and Goku and Vegeta are in some intense training, while Bulma's birthday party is now in full swing. One very strange thing is that we see Pilaf and his gang in some makeshift island that maybe they made themselves, and then them running into Bulma's cruiser. Goten and Trunks' antics, of course, allow Pilaf to detect the Dragon Balls on Bulma's ship, which is all the invitation that Pilaf needs. Meanwhile, on King Kai's planet, Goku is in intense training, while King Kai himself is trying to prevent Goku from knowing about Beerus. Albeit, he's pretty bad at it. Of course, because I'm a Pilaf fan, I love the antics that Pilaf gets into this episode. Pilaf is just one of those villains, even though you know he's evil and despicable, because he fails so much and so hard. Sometimes you just want to see him succeed a little bit. Kinda reminds me of Trombone from Mega Man Legends. But as much as I love the Pilaf stuff in this episode, I must say that this episode didn't have a lot going on. This episode, you could say, is probably the closest thing that the series has had to filler up to this point, I think. And honestly, I do think that this is actually exacerbated by the fact that Super is retelling the story of Battle of Gods. We already know most of the major plot points that are going to be happening, and albeit with the details changed, which I think is a welcome change, because quite honestly, if Super just went on to tell the Battle of Gods story point for point just the way it was in the movie, then what's the point? We need some twists and turns and surprises that we don't see coming. This is definitely at least the slowest paced episode to this point, and probably the weakest to this point. And you know what's kind of funny about that is that there wasn't any recycled footage in this episode, which is something that I truly welcome, and actually, I'm glad we didn't see. There were some strange moments when the character outlines got ridiculously thick, and all I could think to myself is, did the animators that week just watch Dexter's Laboratory or Powerpuff Girls or something? Because that is extremely uncharacteristic for Dragon Ball. Weird outlines aside, I think the episode was a good one, despite being the weakest out of the 4 that have been aired so far. And that mainly has to do with it feeling a little fillery, a lot that hasn't been accomplished. I mean, at this point, we're just pretty much waiting till Beerus shows up, until the major plot points of Battle of Gods start really rolling past, so we can get to some of the action. So I could see that some people might have not have gotten the most enjoyment out of this episode if it maybe for perhaps they didn't like Pilaf or didn't take quite kindly to all the adventure he had in this episode. But I did. But regardless, guys, the next episode seems to be really the first action type episode in Dragon Ball Super, which I'm kind of curious to see, since I want to see how the animation of this thing is going to be in an intense action scene. But until next time, guys, I will be Blackenfist. And I'm out, man. Let's try, search high and low, search the sky and the sea below. Let's try, seize the day, and make new friends along the way. That was terrible.